everyone, I am Crinstar, and I'm going to talk about VCVRack 2, the effects plugin. I don't sing the praises of VCVRack enough, especially with host. VCVRack is a modular instrument if you're not familiar with it, or a modular type of setup, but it does host effects too. So right now, let me disable it. Right now I got a simple MIDI. Going into Polymer here on default just to give an example. Now, if I turn this on, I'm not going to hear anything because basically the default routing's not set up. So basically what we need to do is on the effects channel, we need to set up the audio. So let me delete this. Let me bring, I think we go in here and we duplicate this. Let me play it again. No sound. All you have to do is drag this in there. And you got sound, right? So that's not technically what we want to do though. What we want to do is we want to duplicate it. And then we want to create sort of a chain, right? So we want basically VCVRack has a bunch of plugins to mess with things, and one of the best modules that they have in there is Plateau here. It's a plate reverb. And if you wanted to look for them, you can go into tags and hit, should be effect here, and it shows all the effects that you have available. And there's, like I said, there's quite a bit. If you want more effects, the Surge XT, they got quite a few of them for delays, and the great thing about these is that they're all, they all have macros that you can modulate in them. So that you can have a whole bunch of fun with them. Frequency shifters, distortion. I wonder what neuron is. Well, let's try it. So again, we put it into the inputs, and then we drag the outputs. Sound like some sort of drive or saturation effect. Okay, so not only VCVRack cool, but they have this thing called the host, and we're gonna use the host effects today. And host effects has a whole lot of fun little things in it that basically all it does is it's a VST host. So you can grab other plugins in here that you wanna mess around with and use them in VCVRack. So like Supermassive, well-known plugin. Alright, so the cool thing about host is host creates a host for any VCV plugin. But this little box here, you can assign any knob. So you just saw me mess with the delay and then assign it here, and then that corresponds with this thing. Why is that important? Well, it's because you could take, let's say, LFOs, and then drag the output of the LFO, let's say this sine wave, and create sonic insanity. Very cool stuff. So if I wanted to mess around with the feedback here, I'd click on the knob, tweak the feedback, and then assign it. So let's say assign it to the saw here. And it's still going. So basically, all I can do, I can host any effects in here, though. What else do we want to play around with to create some insanity? EFX fragments. So let's get in some granular insanity. So again, if I wanted to do something, I'd grab this and let's do the intensity. And see, the intensity's already being automated. Alright, so why is that cool? Well, it's because there's a ton of modulations in VCVRack. This is a, like, modular type of setup. So you can use any one of the 1,700 modules that you have available in the VCVRack library to do any type of modulation. If you want to use a wavetable instead of modulation, you have a lot of options. So there's these wavetable VCOs and various different manufacturers or coders, basically, or you know, modules. There's all kinds of ways to mess with the wave. There's XY things. When you're talking about modulation, this thing is probably the most craziest in terms of modulation options that you have. Not saying that there's not other stuff in there, but you can mess around with the modulation and then mess around with the modulation and mess around with the modulation and mess around with the modulation. Within VCVRack, because it's huge. And if you don't like it, you can pick up C++ and code another one. And these are dealing with waves, so you got all kinds of different things in here. So let's see if they have an actual modulation. No. They got envelope generators. So like these should be your ADSRs, ways to generate your MSEG right here. This one's actually really cool for messing around with stuff. So basically, it follows the MSEG. So let's use the CV1 output here. And as soon as I hook it up, starts running. So now you see that the FX right there now is going across, following the MSEG here. And if I go here, this was another way of getting MSEGs into Bitwig before Bitwig had curves. All right, so that's pretty cool. But if I wanted to say mess with how the LFO is being generated, and I wanted to up the frequency or down the frequency, so now my LFO is going crazy. Shape Masters are really wickedly cool thing. They got free, and this is the free version. They do have paid options that actually add even more functionality. But that one's are a really cool plugin for VCVRack. It's hands down really good for MSIG possibilities. And just being able to alter like literally anything that has a port that you can plug into. For stuff. So if we want to like say put in an ADSR type of filter in here, let's get out of here. Let's do. So I want to take your pick of whatever ADSRs I'm probably doing. Let's just use the default one here, and then we're gonna use this to cut the sound level. So we want to bring in a what they call a VCA amplitude, voltage controlled amplitude, and we're gonna make sure that the disc controls it. And what's interesting is that the ADSR works off of MIDI. So how are we going to get MIDI? Well, there was that, let's see, host the MIDI, that was loaded in originally that I deleted. Where did you go? So MIDI CV. So this should be coming from the host. We have DAW, so anything coming from the host, control-wise, will go into here, and we just want the gates. So when this shoots out, and hopefully if the MIDI goes through. Oh, wait, that's not affecting anything. Silly me. There we go. Okay, well, pretty much insanity. Wanted to show off VCVRack, show the modular capabilities. Okay, so if you had a bunch of these hosts, and then put on your VCVs in there, you could definitely do multi-effect VCV generation. Just like the video that I did, the second to the last video that I did with the Devious Machines and the Cable Guys multi-effects studios. Literally, VCV is a multi-effects powerhouse using your own VSTs. You don't have to deal with the level of quality that they put into their VSTs or their effects. You don't have to deal with it if you want to do supermassive Echo and reverb capabilities combined with EFX fragments, granular, and then save it. And all of this stuff is you can save it as a preset, and then reuse it anytime that you want. This could use a preset browser or some type of way of seeing all the stuff that you've made without having to open it up each and every one. That could be a little bit better, but so far though, if you wanted to be ultra creative and be able to use VSTs, this thing hands down is probably the best option you got for the money. Probably the most expensive thing about this other than dollars is learning the ins and outs of this application. It is a modular style application, so it uses CV, and so if you're used to like Reason, or even the CV concept, understanding CV is kind of hard to put your head around, but once you understand it, its potential is unlimited when it comes to being able to control any knob, any effect, anything, and then be able to use more stuff to alter it. Additionally, you could also export the stuff out to Bitwig, or at least the stuff in here to Bitwig, and have Bitwig mess with it. I think I'll do a video on that later on. That would seem cool to me, because I don't think I've done that yet. But overall, VCVRack shines when it comes to multi-effect, kind of all-in-one packages. It's just missing the preset thing to do it, and I think for creativity-wise and for everything else, hands down, it's like one of the best with using kind of your own VSTs that you want to do for effects. So, at any rate, hope you liked the video. It was kind of fun making it. And I really do appreciate if you've been here listening this long. I do appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will get you later.